Hello everyone, and once again welcome back to another video. So as you can see from the screens, today we are taking a look at something slightly different from the usual topic of the foreign exchange market. In fact, we are quickly pausing from the technical analysis standpoint of the foreign exchange, but we will be back, and we're taking a look at something that I couldn't help but notice and therefore analyze and bring to you through the form of a video. So we are taking a look at a company, this time in fact a proper stock with employees and shareholders to please, and the shareholders who have bought at a reasonable price over the past couple of weeks or even months would have been really happy about what's been happening. But actually, the short sellers, as this article from Free Trade reports, have lost a lot of money. So the company I'm talking about is obviously Tesla, as you can see from the screen, and short sellers have lost a whopping $9 billion trading Tesla shares since the start of 2020. The start of 2020, we're only in February, so that comes to show as how much of an increase in share price the company has experienced. So if we take a look at the chart, then obviously we can see that since the beginning of 2020, the price has been going from 432 to a high of 963. That's like multiples of huge factors that contributed to it. Well, first of all, the company in the past couple of years, as you can see, has been stalling around this $200, $300 price range due to plenty of factors. First of all, uncertainty relating to the Model 3's success and the ability of Elon Musk and his overall team to deliver the promises. And then again, over the course of 2018 and 2019, Elon Musk then goes out and does silly things on the Joe Rogan show by smoking weed on a live program. So it's something that a CEO of that caliber, a CEO of that caliber, should not really be sharing with the outside world, because if there is such a strict correlation, especially in this company, between the behavior of the CEO or the main director and the share price. So after doing that, and after the video went live onto YouTube, then the stocks plunged and whatever. Then the reason for that also took place in another occasion when Elon Musk tweeted that he was thinking about taking the company private for about $420. Obviously, that was something that was interpreted by the SEC as market manipulation. Therefore, he was filed for, obviously market manipulation, which is an offence, and therefore he was taken to tribunal, to court for that, and therefore that couldn't sort of help but drive the price of Tesla down as a result of the wrongdoings as such for on behalf of the CEO. So Elon Musk then hugely, as we said, influences what the performance of the underlying share price looks like. And since those couple of events I've just mentioned, he's been quiet, he's been behaving, he's been obviously working really hard in order to deliver on those promises. And the Model 3 has been very successful, and those people have been thinking about, well, if then Elon Musk and his team can deliver the promises, the very ambitious promises relating to the Model Y and the Model X and all of these other products that are coming out, the Cybertruck, for example, then what other things can they deliver, and can they actually achieve? Therefore, lots of excitement came within the company, lots of buyers that sort of wanted to join the massive ramp to the upside. But then short sellers obviously got the worst of it, because whenever a short seller decides to be a short seller, in effect, what they hope is that the underlying price of the asset then goes down in value, which is exactly the opposite of being a normal shareholder. So whenever short sellers saw that was taking place, then in order to cut back on their losses and cut down their exposure, what they did was purchase more shares in order to sort of initiate a sort of process of cutting down their losses, which were in fact very substantial, being $9 billion. But what that creates is a vicious circle. So more shares being bought by the long sellers, the long buyers, but also the short sellers who then have to buy the shares to give them back after having borrowed them. And I hope this makes sense. Obviously, that creates a vicious circle that just keeps driving the price up and up. And as we can see, it reached incredible levels. 960 or something like that was the highest level reached. However, when we then take a look at the performance of this chart, then there is when we witness that much of an increase, there is equally as much of a chance of a decrease in the short term. In fact, if we go down to the 4 hourlies, in the 1 hour is more visible. Those huge gaps are just given by the trading hours. So unlike Forex, the stock market is not open for 24 hours, and therefore that just coincides with the close of one day and the open of the day after. Nothing to worry. It's not something to worry about. It's just a visual representation of how the company's share price has been performing. And the point I'm trying to get at is that that was to be expected, because after news about coronavirus, and as we all know, Tesla has a huge interest in China, having just opened their second gigafactory over there. Obviously, whenever the company had to shut down the operation due to the coronavirus again, obviously Tesla just plunged. So 17%, that was yesterday's news, and there was one day drop in 8 years. So going back to the chart, when we see something like that with as much of an impulse or euphoria or a static sort of feeling, then obviously that's not sustainable, and sooner or later something like that, a massive correction, will then be expected, is to be expected. By taking a closer look at the chart, however, some of you may recognize the similarity between this and the most famous cryptocurrency. So by taking a look at Bitcoin before the massive ramp, before the crash, but after the massive increase in price, well, that just resembles almost exactly what Tesla has been doing. In fact, so on the left-hand side, we've got Bitcoin, and on the right-hand side, we've got Tesla. These two graphs don't look too different from one another, do they? But then taking a look at Bitcoin, what then happened after just clearly shows how unsustainable these movements are, okay? Downside very quickly. Yeah, so, you look at that. So it's then important not to be, too caught up in excitement when we see these huge spikes, because there's a very high chance that the price may come down, as it actually ended up happening. So going back to Tesla for now, we can then see that price stabilized itself at the current price of 760. In fact, it plunged 17% on the news of coronavirus. Okay, so another article that I found, look, Elon Musk on the opening of the Gigafactory in China after reported, I believe that was after reported earnings, that for the second consecutive quarter in the year, the company Tesla managed to be profitable, which is something that many people, especially analysts and investors and traders, were really, really passionate about knowing and finding out. So a company with so much overhead and expansion of products and growth obviously will then struggle in the first few years to be profitable. Elon Musk then, in a conference call I listened to a couple of earnings releases back ago, then sort of said that 2019 and also 2020 will be thoroughly profitable, and that's exactly what people were expecting. And but despite the promise, people were skeptical because, again, of the high costs and that are correlated entirely into the production of mainly the Model 3, but also the Model Y that's just coming up later on this year or next year, I believe. I'm not too sure. But yeah, so whenever then Tesla managed to show positive results, then obviously Elon Musk was really happy, because I believe he quadrupled or tripled his whole net worth in the matter of a few days, which is absolutely insane. So even when we talk about characters of such a high caliber, then we can see that it could be argued that he's not too well diversified. Granted, he's got interests in other companies such as SpaceX, so not the a huge amount of his worth, not 100% of his net worth will be tied within Tesla, but a very huge proportion, to the point where these major fluctuations strictly correlate with how much money Elon Musk is worth at the end of the day. So all of these articles just say that company shares rose as much as 20% in one day, reaching $140, but then as we saw from the chart, sort of kept tanking to the price that has shown us today. So whenever we see something like that, one or two things could happen. Obviously, you could either stick with it for the long term and sort of ride out any momentary bumps and rides. So you sort of stick with it, sort of put up with it. There's no clear signs as to what the price will be doing by taking a look at the technical analysis, because obviously these are the highest prices that the stock, the underlying share, has ever reached, and therefore there's no way for us to go back and take a look at any significant levels or patterns that could also influence future performance. So for now, it's literally anyone's guess. My personal opinion is that I believe strongly in the company, although many would argue that other auto manufacturers, automakers such as BMW and Audi and Porsche and Mercedes are then slowly catching up with the automotive industry from an electric and emission-free standpoint, and I totally agree with that. But I also believe, from the same token, that by the time that these big manufacturers will then try to even catch up, then Tesla will be far gone. And with the amount of technology, because in fact I don't even think that Tesla should be considered as an automobile company. What they hold as their main value is a technology. So technology is exactly what they gather on a daily basis. They gather so much data from all of the users of Tesla all over the world that through the autopilot and the various cameras that are installed around the car, then they keep sort of feeding into this, I presume it must be a huge database, whereby information is stored, and through AI and artificial intelligence, in fact, and software programming, I'm not too sure it works, but I'm sure they are constantly improving given the customer and client's feedback. So given the amount of technology that the company can benefit from, I believe that this company will see huge spikes. But I'm talking about $2,000-3,000 per share within the next 5 to 10 years, because the potential is there. The potential is there. The only thing would be that at the moment, so short-term scenario, I'm expecting this to come to the downside. First scenario over there, and in my opinion, and second scenario over there. And this could well happen due to the fact that all it would take is for one piece of news to go wrong, or to go in the wrong direction, and obviously the company could tank very, very much in just one trading session. So this could well happen, but now I'm referring to the longer term, 5 to 10 years. I do believe in this company. I'm long in it. Actually, I have purchased a very small amount of stock in the company, to the point where if it goes wrong, then if I lose that money, then it's not going to change my lifestyle in any way, shape, or form. But then I'm going to stick with it because I see the potential in the long run. Elon Musk, and I do believe that he's a very important individual within the company, but I also believe, from the same token, that more credit should be given to the rest of the team, but that's for another topic of discussion. Whenever we talk about Tesla overall, I think that this company is just achieving outstanding levels of success, and people who, the short sellers who never believed in the company are now realizing what they missed out on. Just if they had believed in the company a little bit more and actually changed their perspective and gone along with it, they would have made a killing for sure. So short-term perspective, I wouldn't be surprised. It wouldn't be unusual if we reach lower levels because of this. For example, the 389, very important level that the company really did struggle to to break through for a very long time. Was that so? From that to this is about 922 days. So over 3 years of constant back and forth between this area. So this is a very strong level. That one is a little bit due to the. I'm just taking a look at the 1 hour. So big retrace there, but purely speculation, and there's no real patterns that really do work, in my opinion, with regards to stocks. So foreign exchange markets are completely different to stocks when it comes to the price behaviors. In fact, taking a look at these gaps, these massive gaps just make it very complicated and almost impossible to predict with certainty through the use of chart patterns what the underlying share price will be heading towards in the near future. So yeah, I just wanted to provide you guys with a quick outline or outlook of my personal opinion. So short term, short; very long term, very long. In fact, I put my money where my mouth is, and therefore believe that myself. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. Just wanted to provide you with a slightly different perspective. I'm very interested in the foreign exchange market, obviously, but I have a very soft spot for stocks in general, because I believe that companies are huge parts of an economy of a country and the world, and therefore they are worth checking out and studying in as much detail and curiosity. Well, thank you very much for watching, and until the next one, cheers.